Good morning, afternoon, evening. Thank you very much for being here at different times all over the world. This is Circus and its others. We are gathering or a conference that happens every 2 years and in different parts of the world. This is our third year. The conference was, of course, canceled because of COVID-19. It was happening in November last year. So hopefully we're gonna have the in-person conference this year in Davis, California in November. So I would like to introduce briefly our team, Karen. So please raise your hand. Charles, Ante, and Veronica that is gonna join us soon. So we are Circus and its others. And while we can have our meeting, face-to-face meeting, we decided to organize these events to take advantage of COVID and the digital platforms to bring together voices from all over the world to discuss what is happening in Circus today due to all these restrictions of COVID. So this is our second event. The first one happened 2 months ago where we discussed color in the center ring. Ante was in charge of that event. So we want to invite you to have a look at the video of the conference that is there on our website. And in next month, we're going to have another event that Veronica is organizing on Circus in Australia. So also please stay tuned with us because we're going to have events till November next year. Okay, so first of all, I want to give my land statement. So this event aims to bring voices from around the world. Many of them are not here today. We still count them as valid voices and part of the Circus community. To our friends in Uganda, where the cities are militarized and the internet cut down because of national elections, and also to our friends in the US and all over the world having political issues. So thank you very much for joining us. So today we're going to discuss COVID, but also this event has the purpose to know a little bit more about what is happening in Circus all over the world. So we try to invite people from different cities, different countries to share their experiences. This is a situation that is affecting all of us. So let's take advantage of that we are kind at the same level to see what is happening. And we invited participants from different countries to produce a video where they can present their experiences of COVID. So those videos work like the conference presentation, where they have this space to share their experiences of Circus. So I would like to invite you to have a look at them. If you couldn't before the event, just do it. They're gonna be there for the whole year. So let's find many, many interesting things of Circus around the world. So this session is gonna work as a workshop. So after we watch all these videos, we identify some topics that all of them cover. Thank you, Diego is coming and more people are joining us. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we identified some topics of discussion that you can have a look at them on the chat. So we're gonna address those topics here today. So we're gonna divide the session in 3 groups in a way that we can have more intimate discussions. We are recording right now, so if any of you wouldn't like to be there recorded, just let us know so we cut your part. These 3 group sessions are not going to be recorded, so we can have like a safe space where we can really talk freely without having the big boss on top of us. So we can have a nice and relaxed discussion. These groups are going to address 3 questions, each of them. We're going to take notes in a Google Doc that will be shared with all of us too. And after an hour, so around 11:15, we're going back to this room and each group will present the conclusions of their discussions. Oh. Then we're going to close with a general question that is how to come together as a Circus community.
Do we have to go to breakout rooms?
Sorry? There was a question. So I will explain the groups a bit more. So we go back together to discuss how we can come together as a Circus community to continue, how to do it, how to survive 2021, as a community. We already experienced this kind of a stop and shock. So what to do in 2021 and how to come together as artists, as organizations, as scholars to support our work in the forthcoming years. So the groups. So the public will choose which group to go. So you can join the group that you want to be because you want to discuss the topic or because you want to listen to someone specifically. And then you have the first 5 minutes to decide if staying in that group or switch. So you can switch your groups in the first 5 minutes. After that, you can't change because it's quite annoying to have people coming in and out. So we're gonna just keep the groups as they are. Okay, so group one. So group one, we're gonna discuss government support and job opportunities. So Sina, hello, Susina. Yes, she's gonna moderate this group. And with her, we're gonna have our friend Richard, which is not here with us today. He's from Uganda and it's a shame. He can't be here because there is no internet connection in Uganda. But Richard is still here and I would like to invite you to watch his video from Kampala. We have Ashta from India. Hello, Ashta, thanks for coming. Francesco from Italy. He's somewhere there, Francesco. Hello, Francesco. Julia from Mexico. Hello. Hamid from Kabul, from the Circus School in Afghanistan. Hello. And Angola from Toronto. So that's our first group, Sosina. That Sosina will moderate and those who want to talk about governmental support and job opportunities will go to that group. Our second group will be moderated by Natalie. Hello, Natalie. She's based in Bristol, artist and scholar. And they're gonna discuss digital platforms and a really important topic at this time, and is the well-being of artists and mental health. This has been a kind of silence topic that we consider is really important to discuss, how COVID is affecting the mental health of artists. So Natalie will moderate this group, and we're gonna have Teklu here from Ethiopia. Hello. Yes. Tracy from China, who is here today despite the snow. So thank you very much, Tracy, for being here. Alison Fang from Stockholm. I don't know if she joined us already. Okay. Hello, Alison, wherever you are. Diego Martinez. Hello, Diego. Diego, I don't know where country you are from. So we invited him because like him, many circus artists were stuck in between borders. And we wanted to recognize that as well, that big section of circus artists that depend on visas and work permits and are stuck in between countries. So Diego is originally from Colombia, used to live in the UK and is now in Spain. So thank you, Diego. We want to recognize also these kind of edges. We talk about countries, but we forget about who are in between. We have also here Abu Zaha from Palestine. Hello, Abu. Yes. And Tony Lee from Washington, DC. That is in the news all over the world. Hello. And our final group. Hello, John.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they're going to discuss digital platforms and well-being. So our last group, group 3, I'm going to moderate that group, and we're going to talk about isolation and communities in circus during COVID, and also mobility and contact with audience, how they have been restricted during COVID. And with me, we will be Gift Chansa from Zambia. Hello, Gift. Gwen from Taiwan. Natalie James from the UK, which is around. Julieta Infantino from Argentina. Hello, Julieta. Noha from Egypt. I don't know if she's joined us already or not. And Trevor from Seattle, who is the earliest time today. So 7 a.m. in Seattle. So thank you very much for waking up so early. Okay, everybody, so now we're going into the groups. So you can choose the group that you want to go in. You have 5 minutes to decide if staying there or changing. And then in an hour, we're gonna be back here to finish the talk, the discussion, and to close with possibilities and how to continue in the next year. If anyone has any issue, just send an email. Ross, you are the one here, the boss.
Yes, hi everyone. I am helping run the tech side of things today. So many of you are probably familiar with how breakout rooms work, but if you are not, I'm gonna press a button and then you're going to be able to choose which room you go to. I'm going to make it so that we have 3 groups and I can manually add anyone to whichever group they would like to be if they got lost. In the chat function, there's a little blue box and you can click on it and select me if you would like to send me a specific message. But bear with me as we get everyone into the right breakout rooms. I will ask the leaders to choose 1, 2, or 3 based on your which group you will be leading, and then everyone else can sort of follow along. So we're gonna give this a go, and yeah, bear with me. Okay, everyone is now invited to join one of the 3 groups. You should see the moderator for each group, and I will be able to send you a message to give you a 5-minute warning, and then we will all come back to share. And I'm gonna stop recording now.
So we're gonna start with laughing because we were talking about the power of laugh and coming together through laughing that cannot disappear, not even in the screen. So I just wanna laugh because we just were talking and break in that specific moment. So let's have a laugh.
Yes.
Beautiful.
You did it. Well done. Being connected in the for 2 hours almost. So we had a really interesting group sessions. I don't know how yours were, but our session was really amazing, and we cover more or less, not always our topic, but of course they are interrelated. So I'm sure we all cover this topic somehow. So thank you very much. We are back here in the whole screen, the whole team together again. So the idea is to share the main conclusions we had in our groups according to our topics, and to finish with some brief ideas of how to come together at these times to continue with 2021. So I think I'm gonna start because I'm leading this thing. So we start with group 3. And I want to invite our guest with their line, just a line of conclusion from topics that we discussed. Our group was discussing isolation and communities in Circus during COVID-19. Is Circus a communal practice or isolated, and how COVID affected this characteristic of Circus, and also the importance of travel and of having contact with audience. Can we really replace audience contact with Zoom? So I want to invite our panelists. Julieta, if you wanna go.
Okay, perhaps one of the things we discussed was the difference between the experiences of isolation during the pandemic and the possibilities of meeting together and collaborate and make different collective actions. So there were some differences in the opinions of everybody, but we kind of conclude that the characteristic of Circus as a collective art, as a collective practice, is something that has to strengthen and has to go on living. I think that it's one of the things I can say.
And that we have demonstrated with all the activities or with these sessions, but not just this, because Circus has meeting all together in this last time. So we have demonstrated somehow that Circus have come together to support each other. Thanks, Julieta. And Natalie?
I tried to summarize it in a sentence. We spoke about different, so ripple effects of circumstances may cause a chaotic environment or traumatic experience for individuals, but with time and openness, and it can create possibilities and options that we never knew were possible, and then it can turn something awful into beautiful to give us more options with the future.
So what isolation?
With sorry, what was that, Olga?
No, that how this isolated moment is also a valuable moment to connect.
Yes. Yeah.
When? From Taiwan, directly from Taiwan.
Yes, yeah, I think we talk about a lot of things about how we can reconnect with audience, and also to find a new way to continue our creation. And I think in Taiwan, we have been, yeah, also found a new way or innovative way to put things online, of course, but also remain on site, that keep the connections between audience and the performers. And then, of course, the most important thing is that wearing masks and then respect the others. And then we can still collaborate and collectively work together.
Thanks, Gwen. That was really interesting how she mentioned that just wearing the mask is the respect for others. And when we are respecting others, we are coming together as a collective. So that's another symbolic act of collectivity. Thank you. Gift.
Yeah, so we talked about going forward, creating an utopia or a circus village. Also, the connection now that is breaking barriers of like passports and traveling, but connecting easily with people online is something that we should value as well.
Great, thanks a lot. So we are now connected. Doors are break down somehow, and we're not gonna lose that. But we're not gonna adapt to that either. Trevor.
Hello. In our group, we also talked about play and the body, and looking at the ways in which circus forms can invite new perspectives on and imbue the everyday with the magical in ways that really open possibility.
Thank you very much. Is anyone else from our group who wants to say something else? Sonia, Brian, Keith.
I think we were just saying, weren't we, that the notion of circus adapting, you know, is nothing new. That circus has adapted in order to survive for a millennia, and you know, all we're really, I say all, you know, the challenge really is that, you know, circus needs to continue to adapt and evolve. But I think there's a danger. I think one of the panel members had hinted at this, that we shouldn't really be adapting in a passive way, as Circus has sometimes had to do in the past. It should be something that's a lot more proactive. It's not just adapting in order to survive. It's about taking a level of control and seizing the opportunities that the adversity has thrown our way. And if conferences like this, are in any way indicative of that collective strength, then what I was trying to say was that, that the outcome, the outlook is relatively rosy, that Circus will survive. It will come out the other side of this. It will look and sound and feel very different for people going to Circus and people performing in Circus, but and it won't lose its lineage. It won't lose its links to the past, but it will be something different, but that's nothing new.
Thank you very much, Brian. I'm gonna finish soon because we are running out of time. Keith.
Another thing that we covered is that although I say that we all agreed on the fact that we want to be back in an in-person with smelling our audience experience, that a nice thing that came out of the pandemic is we've been able to tear down borders and connect with artists and the circus community on a much larger level outside of our communities. I mean, it's because of the pandemic that I am seeing all these beautiful faces right here from around the world talking about something that we all love.
Thank you very much. And the power of Circus, we talk about also that, the therapeutic power of Circus and what Circus can give to community at this right moment. Laughter is really important, and we can connect with laughter even on the screen. So we can use that power to keep connected. And I'm gonna give the word to Susina and their conclusions of the first group about governmental support and job opportunities. You are mute. I'm trying to unmute, but
okay, I'm back. It was incredible conversation we had. One of the things came out of our conversation was, some countries don't pay taxes. The artists don't pay taxes for their governments. So the governments don't acknowledge to support them. So it happens in Africa as well as Mexico and other countries. The other things also is about priorities. Like in third world countries and other places, the priorities are survival of the human being. The circus is probably the last thing they think about through COVID. So the other things also we discuss is the system itself, that if it is under the Ministry of Sport or Tourism, because it happens in India, it happens in Ethiopia and other countries as well. That's also partly that we talked about. And if the digital market is good for us, I mean, like one of the comment came out is because we don't relate to the audience, that doesn't work. So the systems are changed to be a cinema, like a movie, to have that creative space. And the other things that came out of that meeting is to have the time to create. Some of also the artists for the survival methods, they become trainers. A lot of trainers came out of this, but that doesn't mean that they're good trainers. So there is a lot of injuries came out of that. So it's quite an incredible discussions. And there are some countries like Canada that who supports the artists, and there are companies that who also reaching out to the private foundations and investors, to help them out. Some are, they use a survival method of crowdfundings to survive their companies. Also with the support of the mental issues, like emotional issues. In some countries, also the older artists are supporting the young generations. Because circus is a community, and that helps the whole situations. And also investing in local, like for example, building the market inside the country. Like most of our artists go overseas, and we learn to build our industry in the country as well. So there's a lot of discussion. I mean, if there was more times, I mean, when we summarize the documentation, I'm sure that we share it around, and they will be able to see each other's, comments and the outcome of this panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susina. And then we're going now to Natalie and the second panel, the most popular one, and is digital platforms and well-being, to share discussion.
I think what we unpacked was that there's so many questions around the digital. It's like, are we using the digital for our economic benefit, our physical benefit, or our social benefit? Then there's who has access to that. So if are we using it for classes and workshops, that can be a good outlet because it's easier to kind of follow. But then when it comes to shows, a lot of people were saying that it can be quite disengaging to be able to really interact with what's going on the screen. And then there becomes this whole learning curve of how to use these digital skills. And if you don't understand the digital skills and you're not utilizing them to the best effect, no matter what you're doing, it's just not necessarily getting through. So people having to learn how to become filmmakers suddenly overnight, otherwise the art that they've trained for 20 years is not going to be recognized if you don't learn how to edit your film within a week. And so there's that kind of we wanted to go down the route of looking at how to present the shows digitally in a way that could work. But we also then wanted to go down the route of how with social circus, it's not, the digital platform is just not getting that visceral connection that we all really want, that the learning that's not just this learning, it's the touch learning, it's the trust learning, it's the human contact. Yeah, just looking at my notes. But there was also quite a nice comment that sort of this digital necessity sometimes creates a false marriage of things that you don't normally get, which can sort of start creating a new art form and a new interaction, a new spark of creativity that might not have been seen before. It also led quite nicely into our discussion about mental health, as a digital platform can be a great way of keeping some form of sanity and community, even though it's not the same as being in a room. And like producing collaborative or participative videos helps link the community and is also quite a therapeutic process of re-engaging with your art, finding a way to come back to that. But with mental health, it also links in with Susina's group, where if you've got government support in some way, like if you've got no money, your mental health is going to suffer. It doesn't really matter what else is going on in your life. But if you can't, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you haven't got your house and your food, then you're going to suffer. It's before you can start thinking about your act. We talked about athletic identity and how circus artists often see themselves as circus artists, and if they are not performing circus artists, then the self-esteem of that person suddenly loses all identity. And in sport they call it athletic identity, but it's not necessarily such a strong concept in the circus world. And I think it's now we're really seeing that a lot of performers have a low self-esteem anyway, and they get their needs met through performing, and you take away that performance and suddenly a lot of people are suffering with a complete loss of identity, let alone not knowing who they are. There's been some surveys, there's been some links that I've pasted into the Google Docs, and there was a really depressing statistic that 94% of respondents in a survey of circus artists said they were going to consider changing careers. But then this is just circus artists that have access to the digital capacity to answer that survey. So maybe those that wouldn't answer the survey might not be considering leaving. Not too sure there. Anything else in my notes? And the fact that being in a physical show or a physical room, it's beyond any friendship. It's more trust, touch, and we all miss it.
Whoa, thank you very, very, very much, It's a shame to miss the other conversations, but we all took notes and we're gonna put them together and we'll share with all of you. And I was thinking that it's amazing too, not to have that much information. We just have the information we got, the people that we got, and that's the valuable thing of the digital, that is not to get to lots of audiences, but to have a meaningful encounters. And I hope this has been a meaningful encounter, and that's what is meaningful with the digital, not just to have thousands of likes, because we are not commercial business. Well, we are artists, but to some extent it's also having this meaningful encounter. So thank you very much. So our last question to close is how to come together, what to do in 2021, and which kind of strategies can we implement to face 2021, because as far as we go, 15th, 16th of January, the situation is becoming even worse. So what kind of strategies can we implement as a circus community to support each other? If anyone wants just to step in.
I know that in our group, Teklu was talking a lot about really wanting to really come together digitally, and I think Abdu as well, about how to support people who know the digital skills and people who don't know the digital skills, and really collaborate to bring forward. Teklu, would you like to add more? I think it was you that was summing up quite nicely.
Okay, thank you, Nate. Yeah, we are, like in Ethiopia, we don't have that platform. So it's a new thing for us. So we really want to establish this platform in 2021 in because in collaboration with everybody all over in the world, because we want to use it for our social, because we are also, there are social responsible circus groups and organizations in Ethiopia. And as I heard from others, we also want to use it for our economical purpose. So I think we really want to collaborate with companies and organizations from all over the world to experience and start this digital platform for the Ethiopian National Circus platforms. So this is what we are very much really looking forward. So I think with that, I feel we're going to bring back our energy because in Ethiopia, all our artists are very energetic. So with this situation and also some other factors nationally, we are very much depressed and not active. So we hardly need this kind of collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What else? Gift was talking about digital residents, artistic residents. If you want to comment on that.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, also, I just had another thought, like what Teklu was saying from Ethiopia, just more like what we're thinking about for 2021 for us is like going digital, but like the difficulties that I have is how do you establish yourself online, and what kind of infrastructure or that you're supposed to use that who will represent Circus in a way that we want, because in the conversation that we talked much about, like we need the communal, we need the people in order to perform, because it's different than being online. And I've been thinking about how then can we collaborate with people that create games, for instance, because people, they are much attached with games and it's more interactive. Is there a way that they could create something that could like benefit even circus artists and things like that?
Great, thank you very much. Someone else would like to add something of how to? what can we give, probably? Abu from Palestine Circus.
So Natalie make a good brief about everything. So thank you, Natalie. For the 2021, and I hope for the future, I think there is many details, challenges that circus artists and activists faced in different countries. It depends of the law, the situation. For example, our friend in Spain, something, it's not all financially, sometimes about the law, sometimes about creating the company, sometimes about the tax and all these things. I think it should be something like a union for the circus activists, like the workers union or the engineers union, or like something should be like this, a union or association that present all the circus activists and maybe give them opportunities, or it can be a station to exchange opportunities as the digital opportunities that they speak about, or any other opportunity. And it also can develop the quality of all the work when it's mixed from different culture. It can develop the quality of all of our circus artists. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Abu. Someone else?
Can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Can I say something? No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we've learned a lot from 2020, but 2021, I've been writing a lot, but we need a lot of documentation about histories, physical cultures of, learning from each other cultures. I think there is so much, especially for Africans, there is so much indigenous cultures that we need to discover, because we don't travel very much now, that it's a great way to discover those cultures and also document them to further our shows and performances that we might use later on. So I would see 2021 is if the borders are not open, that it's time to see ourselves inside and to see ourselves not only where we belong, but also our physical cultures and celebrate it and perform it locally, and, encourage young people and, tap into the local market.
Really good point, Rosina. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I was thinking of something while someone else would like to add, and I don't know how to do this, but probably we can tell policymakers what to do with us. They have no clue. So probably we can write down something like, hey, we need this, and give them the answer, and just be a bit of activism and imagine what we need and tell them we need this concretely, and probably an international letter. I don't know, something to bear in mind. Francesco.
Yes, I would like just to say that for me, it is really important in 2021 for circus artists and for the circus organization in general to understand and to improve the way we share with the others, not just with the community, but outside the community, what we do. And it's also really important that we start to find the right words to describe what we are doing, because I spoke with a lot of persons, with a lot of companies all around the world, and there you discover some incredible projects, but really often they don't have the words to describe what they are doing, and they don't have the documentation, video documentation or something to describe what they did. And in a moment like this, I think it is really important to go inside the community, but also that we can share outside the community what we have done. In the last 30 years, the contemporary circus have done a lot. We did some incredible progress in every terms, in about show, about performances, and also about social, how the circus it goes into the social. But we don't have this knowledge of how to express what we are doing, the incredible thing that we are doing. And this is for me really important in 2021. That is a year where we can really start to understand what we have done already, to start to think about how we present ourselves outside. We are not just EPs. We are, yeah, because sometimes it is like this, and sometimes we behave a bit like this. And me, I am the first sometimes, no, using just words because I didn't think a lot about that. And one other thing that I would like to say, and that is often in these days we listen this sentence: the circus will survive. And I'm sure that the circus will survive, like the dance and like the music, everything will survive. But for me, it's not that. For me, is how we, the circus artists, in this moment, we will survive to this. For me, the main problem and the main focus right now is not the circus will survive. Everybody knows that the circus will survive, but all these improvements that we did in the last 30 years that are huge, how this experience can survive, how can we not disappear? Because if this emergency, it goes for another 2 years, all these people that are here speaking will not be here in 2 years, because we have to go to work, we have to do something, we have to maintain ourselves. So for me, it's not just about circus, it's about people. I want these people, this incredible bunch of people around the world that is doing an amazing job for the contemporary circus and for circus in general. I mean, how to protect this cluster of person. And the circus, yes, it will survive. He's always existed, we can say. Stop, sorry.
Wow, thanks a lot. Asta, I think you were raising your hand.
Yeah. We've gone way ahead with the conversation. I just wanted to mention one thing about when you're talking about going digital, and the discussion in our group was also about that. Yes, it is difficult, and yes, we would need new methods of learning and training, but but also what is important to ask is ultimately who's benefiting and who's at a higher advantage when it comes to the digital platform. So Circus in India did go digital in collaboration with a production house, and not only that, they were able to tap into international audiences by going digital, which was really great for Indian circus, because post 1960s there've been very few circuses in India who went international. So that is what I wanted to point out, that yes, we would need new methods of learning, but also we need to know who is at a better advantage when it comes to this media. Is the circus artist actually benefiting or not, and in what ways? So just that.
Or is it Google? I'm their owners. Julia.
Yeah, I agree with Asta, and I just think that we are always, or maybe the pandemic is pushing us toward this new situation, and I think we do need to adapt and to create new art forms with film and what we're talking about in our group. But I also think that we have to think outside of the box and to create new strategies for us, not just with the government and not just with digital platforms. I just wanted to share very quickly that here in Mexico, I'm currently working with an artist. So we are doing a public space research. So we realized that in Mexico, there are a lot of performances on the street, but they're not, we don't have all the measures and we don't have a research about the space. So we started doing this research so we can do performances outside with all the COVID measures and trying to take advantage of the architecture and like natural scenery that the city can give us. And it's been working very, very well. So that was our solution of not doing the streaming and to keep creating for other audiences, but with a research, not just going outside and doing something, but just like, and we're going to share this research with all the artists of the community in Guadalajara, so they can use as well this to do their performances.
Olga?
A lot. Yes, Ross.
I just want, Tracy has her hand up and I want to make sure that we hit Tracy up.
Cool. Tracy.
Hello, thank you very much. I found out what's amazing about this event. It's not national, it's global. And we need to recognize, we not only need the recognition from national governments, but also we need the recognition from transnational governing bodies, such as UNESCO, which is a very important governing body, often provides support and resources to different kinds of arts and culture organizations. And I think we, as a community, global community, we can first have a petition and make a request to UNESCO to give resources, do a survey globally about all different countries, different regions, what's going on. I mean, this is great. We are doing it from grassroots perspectives, but if you have more data of different region, country, what's lacking, what's available, and to do it needs resources. You cannot just do like, you know, as we're doing, we all volunteer our time, give our own passion, but you need the resource to do this kind of global survey. And what I can think about now is UNESCO do have a mandate to support cultural developments globally, and perhaps that will be a way to begin thinking about how we tap into that resources and even link the digital economy to what we are doing, which is now the priority of UNESCO. I don't know you're following their policy right now, but this is really important. So I see this as an opportunity for us as a whole to make these kind of demands at a global level rather than only focus on the national level. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Well, we just say thank you to everybody. Thanks for all your comments, opinions, and for being here. Ross!
Yes. I just wanted to say, thank you so much. Thank you for bearing with us as we work to figure out those breakout rooms. Most of you have probably seen that people are adding their email addresses in the chat because people from all over the world are here today and they want to stay connected, which I think is wonderful. I am going to add everyone who has consented to being contacted into a public Google Sheet so that you can all have each other's. I'm thinking a column for your contact, a column for your name and country, and then a column for any link you want to share to your organization or a resource that you might have mentioned today. I will have that for Olga to send out to the group. So if you want, you can send us an email at circusanditsothers@gmail.com, which I have dropped into the chat, or in the next couple of minutes, you can sneak your email in there. And thank you everyone who has done that so far. That is it from me. Back to you, Olga.
Thank you very much, Ross, and for reminding us all of these very important points, because then through that emails, we can share the conclusions of each group. So we can share the Google Docs are open even, so you can have a look at them, but we'll go through them and edit and make some edits. So we recorded the first part and this last bit. So the idea is to put a video, because now we are filmmakers and editors and all that stuff. And so we can have like a video of this conclusion, and it's going to be uploaded on our website. We will share the Google Docs, and it will be amazing to put forward these ideas that we just mentioned. So if someone thinks that can help to create these digital platforms in Ethiopia, please send them an email, and probably we know people that are able to support this kind of activities. Julia, if you can share your research, will be amazing to see how you did this research, public research in the cities, and to see this all the other alternatives. Tracy, we can talk about the petition, or to, I don't know, and to claim, to try to put down these needs, or this kind of letter, I don't know. Yeah, and go through all these interesting points that we mentioned today, and try to do something with that as far as we can. And the most important is not to adapt, maybe. and to fight, as Brian was saying. We need to fight, not in a negative way, but in a way that we don't have just to adapt and be like, oh yeah, cool, no. Let's fight for what we really believe on, and is this contact, physical contact, but also going local. That's a point. It's a very interesting point, to come in local and global at the same time, and see what's happened from here. So thank you very much. If someone else wants to add something, welcome. If not, goodbye.
Olga.
Karen.
Charles would like, I'm volunteering Charles to want to say something on behalf of Circus and its others. And I'll say, before I let Charles take over, thank you so much, Olga, for your incredible powers of organization and global networking. This is an unbelievable compilation of people from all over the world. Thank you, Russ, for your digital support. This has just been such an important and uplifting experience for us all to come together. My colleague, Charles.
So thank you. I think actually Karen just now said everything. So thank you back to Karen. Thank you back to Russ. Thank you to everyone who has been here. It's been an extraordinary moment. I have been convicted and compelled, and more laughter and more human needs to happen. And I see Russ has a hand up before I finished. Is that correct?
Yes, I thought that I was done, but you have a little bit more for me, sorry. I want to let everyone on this call know that this is an ongoing digital panel series, and we will have future programming as well. Circus and our others website is in the chat. We have a next session with Veronica coming up in February. I believe that the date is February 14th. It is a panel that is going to be interested in circus, particularly in Australia. And we will be coming out with the posters and communication and information about that event shortly. But yeah, watch out if you liked what happened today. We are tackling many issues surrounding circus and alterity in the future. So please come back for more.
So as it turns out, I don't really need to say anything because everybody else is saying it, except I want to end on that energy that Sonia talked about, the notion of laughter. It is so key, the notion of play, the notion of community. There are ways into it, even as we're facing digital screens at the moment, different phenomenologies perhaps that are happening. We do have a hope and dream. We've got a real dream that we can indeed find ourselves physically together in a space in Davis, California, with a shout out to Ante for being our host there. We want to make that happen. That is our dream. We want to make sure as well that we can bring in these new ways of community, these new globalizations. We're working it out. We don't know how to do it. We're convicted in the sense that there is a digital divide that we need to come to grips with. But so many beautiful faces here come together that this is our hope and dream. And we hope that, and it's a part of perhaps this utopia that our zombie and that gift was able to share with us. He was talking about a 4-day utopia. I'm like, no, it's got to be a year-long utopia. That's what I'm in for. So anyway, so thank you to you all.
Thank you very much, and please watch the videos. There were a lot of effort and work put there. So please watch them at your own pace and time. They will be there till November. See you in February with our next panel, and also watch our previous panel in November about coloring center ring that Ante put together, and it was brilliant. So don't miss that one either. And thanks Ante, Karen, and Charles for putting us together too. This was a global work. Thank you, everyone.
Can we have one last round of applause for Olga for bringing us all together from all around the world?
Yay. It was a collective work because everybody recommended someone, blah, 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 and we connected somehow. So thank you very much. And for saying yes. That was the most important.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.